show world? This is your man, Jay Liggs, and you are back rocking with the Coach Akira. We appreciate you tuning in. We know we've been gone for a couple of weeks. We apologize, but we back too.
What up?
How you doing?
Good.
All right.
Nice to be back.
2 weeks, how y'all been?
It's been a while, 2 weeks for me.
Did y'all miss us?
It's been a while.
Sounds like a no, because no one said yes. I'm all right.
I mean,
Why so rough?
It's been out here living.
Like a time.
Living like Tasha?
No.
I'm just
You've been out here traveling. That's what you've been doing.
Yeah, speaking of traveling, I want to send shouts out to East Stew out there getting her tip on out here finding her king out there over in Cairo. Be safe. Be safe.
I have to tell my Egyptian king to contact her to give me my gifts.
Oh my God.
That's not a joke either.
Oh, I'm sure it's not. Look at how you looking at her. Go ahead, Queen.
I don't even know how.
Go ahead, collect your things.
Right.
They belong to you.
When that camel outside your job, don't be confused.
If he brings an Egyptian camel all the way over here to get me,
He the one.
clearly you wanted it. So clearly I need to be leaving with you.
Okay, y'all heard it here first. A camel pull up outside her job, tip out here, and I don't want to hear nothing about it.
I mean, as long as he's student loan paid, then we ain't got nothing to talk about it.
You never lied. You never lied.
You paying student loans
You never
in
lied.
full. I'll gladly rearrange my entire life.
You never lied.
That's a good point.
So we got our special guest in the room, my man's Ahmad. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Appreciate how you been.
Appreciate it.
I can ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Why is it that we've been here for about a couple months?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we invite you to the show, the federale's outside. Can you explain?
Deep though.
Like
I almost couldn't get
5,
in.
6 cars deep.
I started to drive by.
Is there a reason why the day we didn't bring you to the show, the federale's here? What's that about?
We'll talk about that, man.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to know.
Appreciate talking about stuff like that.
Oh, okay. You indicted and stuff. All right.
No.
So before we came on, we had a brief conversation, or a brief argument about power.
Oh, God.
And we have come
Spoiler alert.
We have come to the conclusion that Tasha ain't
We
shit.
did not come to that conclusion.
That was not a girl.
That was right.
No,
Yeah,
that was not the conclusion that we
I mean,
came to.
We had talked about
Yeah.
it. Like, yeah, you're right.
No.
I heard you just said that.
Ghost is trash.
Oh my God.
He been trash.
And he put her back against the wall.
Oh, that's what he did to her. She
Yeah,
couldn't
you
just
know,
walk
yeah.
away and
Talking about-
just
What do you mean walk
She
away?
couldn't just
Walk away and go where?
But you know, talking about
Get a regular
just
job.
a while when she was with Sean, right?
No, we're talking about when he put Angela against the wall in his office and
Correct.
started all
Oh,
this.
so what about Sean? What about Terry
Terry
Silver?
Silver.
What about
This was
the
long
new guy?
after Ghost had
Talking
started a
about
whole
the
new
new
life
guy,
with a
talking about the
woman.
new guy at the,
Ghost was trying to
babysitting
marry
shop
old girl
in the
while
back
he's
room while she
still
watching
The
kids.
babysit,
married.
the babysit shot while she watched the kids.
Ghost
You
is
got to wait in the back with the kids in the front.
Exactly.
Kids in the
They're never
front,
gonna
work
admit
in the
it.
back.
When y'all done lying, let us know.
No, that was a fact. That was an all facts.
lying.
But you're, okay, fine, you're not lying. You're omitting the part of the story. You're only
A
telling
huge
her
part of the
side.
story.
Which part? That she closed the door so the kids I mean, that's where I'm.
I can't do this with y'all.
And not
I can't.
only she got the babies, and now she got her baby pushing weight too.
I can't do this
She
with
had no
y'all.
choice in that.
He was
She
gonna do it
did.
regardless. He's been doing it.
We all have choices.
Yes, we do.
So what is she gonna do? Okay, I know you're not good at this. So I'm gonna send you out there and you figure it out on your own?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna teach myself.
What's your other option?
But what's her other option?
How to go to jail?
Clearly we've tried to get him to stop. Clearly they've changed his school.
Right.
They've changed all of his environment. They've tried to talk to him. Tommy held this man over a building.
And
He still went to old boy asking for a brick. He's not going to stop.
So I'm gonna teach him how to either die or end up in jail.
I'm going
or
to
you
keep
gonna
my
actively
son
or not actively,
alive.
passively let him die or end up in jail.
Because I know you're not good at it. So if I know you're not good and you're not going to stop, the only choice I have is to teach you what I
help you do it
know.
well.
That's not the only choice you have. That's the
What,
choice
what,
you decided.
what's the choice? Give me her other option.
Put her foot in his ass. I mean, I'm sorry.
How's that work?
They haven't really
Ghost
tried that. They
put a
haven't tried
gun on this man.
That's out of frustration.
What?
Like, it has not been no consistent discipline with him.
You're not making sense. And I can't do it.
Why?
I mean,
We're gonna
She
teach
has no
we gonna
choice.
teach this young boy how to sell drugs.
I mean, there has not been any consistent discipline with that. No, he's not scared of anyone. He doesn't believe anyone because everyone lies. So yeah, I give you that.
He fell for Canaan because Canaan exposed the truth of who
And
Tasha Rose really was.
And he always told the truth.
Right. So he was, I'm not gonna say inspired, but once he found out that his parents were
Canaan was his shit. His spirit animal.
Yeah, okay.
Once he figured out his parents weren't these penthouse people.
He found out the truth about his parents, and I feel like in him finding out the truth about his parents, he's never going to respect them. Because he's got his whole life, he's looking back on like, you guys have lied to me all this time. You guys have been nothing more than drug dealers. And now I want part of that game.
Exactly.
And now it's nothing you can tell me that's going to make me not want to be a part of that. So you don't want to help me? Cool. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to keep getting my head knocked.
Well, once the show's on, I'm gonna go home and call my parents and ask them. Something ain't right with what I'm doing.
All right, well, moving along. So, first I would like to, came across something on the news that was a little disturbing. I kind of just wanted to send out condolences to the family of Jennifer Taylor McDowell. She suffered a heart attack while on the picket line for GM, like over the weekend or something like that. So I do want to send condolences out to her family. Yeah, she passed away. So, yeah, that was that. That was a, yeah. So I want to do that. Next, I kind of want to, start the show off with, we haven't talked about what's going on in the city for a while. So I want to kind of start the show off there and then end with all the different conversations that we normally have. So to go from there, it's a couple of things going on. It's a lot going on in the city. The Forbes 30 for 30 is coming up soon. It's at the end of this month. And we actually possibly make an invitation to do a live show there. So yeah, I'm trying to work out.
Throw it out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out the dates and all that. So I think it's the 20th through the 25th through the 28th or something like that of this month. So
Next month. Ooh.
no, it's this month. Yeah, because you're gonna be somewhere else probably in the air again, like you do. So we may have an opportunity to do like a live show there. So that's gonna be cool. What else is going on right now? Oh, did you all see what DVE did with the Detroit versus the refs?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I mean, it's only fair. Yeah, that's only right.
Anybody buy it?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Did you get one?
No.
No. Why not? You don't like the Lions?
No.
That was
Gotta root
honest.
for the home team?
No, we've talked about this.
You gotta root for the home team.
When the home team root for themselves.
Oh my God. Terrible.
It's so funny. I was out of town over the weekend and
Again?
whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
You stay here?
People only know they're like, oh, where you from? Detroit. How about those Lions?
That's
That's all you know.
At least say how about the Wings. Give me something different. You got another team, right?
I just root for the home team.
I normally don't get that when I go out of town. I tell them to go to Detroit.
What do you get?
Oh, you to connect?
Do you have your knife on you? Is what I'm trying to get.
It's usually if you kill anybody or something like that. But I tell them I have no clue what you're talking about.
They see that on you, huh?
I guess it's Detroit has they say.
Did you ever finish the basement? That's a whole nother conversation.
I'm like,
for another day.
what?
So,
Wait a minute.
yeah, that's a whole other conversation for another day.
Okay.
But yeah. So y'all hear about the new facial recognition software? It's supposed to be putting into the cameras. How y'all feel about that?
At the airport.
They're supposed to be putting it like in the traffic cams too.
I don't see what's wrong with it. I don't understand why people have such a huge issue with it.
Yeah.
But this is also coming from I studied abroad in South Korea in 2012, and while there, they've had this technology there for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's all in one. We toured this room. All these people, they can see like if you spit your gum out on the ground. They can give you tickets from this room. That's why I don't understand why it's an issue here.
They said our system is flawed. It doesn't recognize women or African Americans properly.
How do they know?
I don't.
Because they have because that.
See, I've not read that. Like, I don't.
The link that I sent you, they were talking about that.
Well, no, I know that what they were talking about in that article was that non-black people tend to not recognize black people the way in which they should. I don't think that there's an issue in the equipment. The issue is in the human eye.
The interpretation.
Correct.
Once I see this.
Well, they did
Correct.
say it was something with the equipment especially for identifying women, because like with the short hair, long hair, things of that nature, like especially like with the driving cams and things like that.
So, okay, even if that's the case, it still has to go to a human eye.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
And the police will still have to do their
it.
work.
And I think that was the issue. People were thinking that it was going to be like end all be all. Like they were going to start arresting people off this software.
Based off of that. Like,
Right.
this looks like you and we're going to arrest you. Like,
Right.
I mean, it still has to hold up in a court of law, right? Like,
We hope.
I would like to believe that that's the case. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not against it.
I don't have a problem with it either.
I mean, I'm not here for it. I'm not against it. I'm just waiting to see how it works. Show me that it works, and I'm fine with it.
So my struggle with it is who has access, because I
Facts.
think that's a huge thing. Because now you start getting into situations where if all police have access to it, you can now catch people in situations where somebody might, I'm looking at this to see where my husband is every night, or if he's going here, or like if his face is recognized over here. Like now I feel like you getting into like, that's a real slippery slope.
Yeah, it is. But I guess the way it's presented is that it's only accessible from this one room at the headquarters. So suppose.
I mean, right, but then they're still employed by people here, and everybody, it's 6 degrees of separation. I know somebody who knows somebody who works there.
You work at that place, right? I need you to look at this person.
Right.
Yeah.
Look this up real quick and see. I ain't gonna tell nobody, or I'm not gonna.
Yeah. And then it comes to the point where, that's your job to just browse through things. So they don't know that you're necessarily looking at somebody, intentionally. So
They have to put something in place, kind of like what people in the medical profession or any profession where you have like a HIPAA compliance or a privacy law in place for those employees, and hope for the best. I mean, where you could be legally charged if we find out you're misusing it. So.
I mean, I'm sure that's probably going to be written into the things that they sign. But what does that mean?
I mean, it'll mean something eventually, because.
I mean, that's if they get caught.
Well, yeah. How would you police that?
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to create this system, and then you have to create another organization to police those people. But if me and those people that's policing me are good, hey man, I gotta look this up real quick.
It's a way to do it, because just like I said, I can only compare it to what I do. If I'm in a chart that I'm not taking care of this person, like I can get in trouble for that. I can't look up my grandmother's stuff.
Right.
So I guess the parameter will be to, you have a list. You have certain things that you're looking for, and if you derail from this assignment, then now we're looking into your logins and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, here's my struggle with it. I don't know how the system works, but I completely understand that. But like, you're going into somebody's chart. But if I'm looking at a camera at 6 p.m. on Puritan and whatever, I'm not looking in someone's chart. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm just looking for crime in this area. I'm looking to see if this person was recognized in this area. But what I'm really doing is looking to see if the dude who I'm talking to was where he told me he wasn't. You see what I'm saying?
No, that's exactly what you're saying. I mean...
I see what you're saying. I'm thinking of ways they can structure it. So, like, yeah, if you get lucky and that's your zone, but if people are assigned zones, I'm strictly looking at this zone. So if I get caught looking at another zone, now I'm under investigation. So that would be a way to attempt to control it. Now, again, if you get lucky and that crosses over, you good.
Right.
But
you got away with that one.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. If they can do something like that, there's ways to kind of police it. Nothing's gonna be perfect.
I don't know, my struggle.
I'm not against it. I get exactly.
I recognize the issues.
That's why I said I wasn't necessarily for or against it, because there's a lot of holes. Because at the end of the day, everyone's human. And, when people are going through things personally, or somebody that's going through something personally, and I can possibly help that out or give you some peace.
I don't think everybody has the same moral compass. So.
Hello.
I mean, that's with anything. That's literally with anything.
Yeah.
So, that's the risk we learn every day.
Hard to make it 100% secure and foolproof.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
That's static.
It's
Can
a lot.
you hear that?
Yeah.
I'll just make sure that ain't. All right, what else you got for us?
Well, what's going on this weekend? Sorry, you would have liked this. There's a nursepreneur workshop
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Going on at Charles H. Wright on Saturday from 4 to 8. It's designed for greatness. It says a platform for nurses and nursing students and aspiring nurses to come together, network, and learn about the matters that are going on in the world today. It also is a resource for scholarships for nursing students and a blueprint for nurses that want to expand their creativity past the bedside. So, no jeans, no gym shoes, no hats. Please dress as if you were going to an interview. So that's pretty cool.
That should be nice. Sad I'll miss it.
Trunk or treat. Has anyone ever participated in like a trunk or treat?
No.
Never.
I helped out at one, but I didn't decorate my own car.
Well, they have the I guess citywide trunk or treat going on in Youth Faith Chapel. It's on 19498 Middlebelt Road in Romulus. I don't know if anyone's going to drive all the way out there, but it's from 6:30 to 8 on Saturday.
Probably get big pieces again.
Yeah, you can probably get king size out there, a couple of hours.
And Romulus?
Also on Saturday.
Right.
Also on a Saturday, Oktoberfest at the Detroit Fleet. That's the spot we went to from 5 to 10.
Cute place.
We actually checked out Detroit Fleet. It was real nice. Real nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna check out the feedback. It's kind of careful. It might just be my.
Is it yours?
It might just be mine. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You gotta be real still.
Right.
There you go.
No, I'm still here. However, yeah, so that's on 1820 East 9 Mile Road in Ferndale. If anyone wants to check that out. And what else? There's a presidential forum for economic and immigrant and racial justice going on Sunday. It's going to be at Coble Hall, the TCF Center, formerly Coble Hall, from 5 to 8. So if you want to check that out, that's going on Sunday.
It's open forum, free.
Yeah. And then, of course, they're doing some tailgating on Sunday at Easter Market, so check that out. So it's a lot of stuff going on in the city. I wanted to make sure we touched on that because that's one of the things that we do. We want to make sure that we're promoting all the positivity that's going on in the city.
For sure.
However, I recently, I kind of looked a little bit into, what was it, trigger warning? Yeah, like Killer Mike. I didn't get to go through it as in depth as I wanted to in the beginning, but I recently over the weekend watched a lot of his episodes. And I wanted to talk about the first one that he put out, which was basically about how we circulate the black dollar. And I just had a couple of questions to pose to you all. So right now it says the dollar stays in communities, in different communities. So Asian community for 28 days, the Jewish community for 21 days, and the white Caucasian community for 23 days, and the black community for 6 hours.
Ugh.
6 hours. So I guess the first question I came, everyone's seen it, right?
Right.
Okay. The question I came up from that was, do you believe that desegregation was a decline of the growth in African American society? Let's start with Ahmad first.
Okay.
He looks like he has something to say.
Repeat the question.
He wasn't listening because they over there passing the phones.
Do you believe that desegregation was a decline to the growth in the African American community?
That's tricky.
It definitely is. That's
on one hand, us keeping the money in the black community definitely helped us. But building allies outside of our community helped us grow. But at the same, it was a pro and a con at the same time.
okay.
I think we lost a sense of togetherness,
Mhm.
our own
Self-worth.
brotherhood, self-worth.
Mhm.
And I think we got to a point where we felt that we were not good, but okay. We've made it, a sense of accomplishment. And how to get that back, it's that'll be tough. That'll be really tough because I think we've lost a sense of our own identity and our own culture. So I think it did help and hurt at the same time.
Tiff, what you think?
I do think that desegregation kind of, I don't want to say ruined us as a people, but it definitely affected us. Not so much in a positive way. I feel like back then we all depended on each other. It was a sense of community. It was a sense of we need each other to survive and to make it day to day. And I think that that's also a way of like social control by the powers that be. So like I see that you all are making it. It might not be, you know, in the best of conditions, but I see the sense of community here. So in order to keep you where you are, because that's what you really need in life. The powers to be, like, you need people to be in certain places in life, and in order to control you, we'll tell you we'll let you in on our side. We'll tell you we'll open up the gates on our side. We'll make it completely hard for you. We'll let a few of you pass through, but for the most part, it's more so we keep. I hate to say this because I don't like the term, but like, their foot on your neck, but they keep you in a position of powerlessness that I think that had we have stayed together as a community, we would not experience on this level. If that makes sense.
Sorry?
I fully agree. I think it played a substantial role in it. There were some cases where people tried to fight it and were essentially forced out. My uncle, he tells the story all the time that our family had a store, and when desegregation started, they kept trying to, oh, you know, we sell it to us and we can help you with this. And, you know, my great uncle was like, no. And so eventually what they ended up doing was buying the warehouse instead. I'm gonna go over your head, and now I'm gonna charge you all this money to buy your supplies. So basically buy you out and force you out. So it played a huge role in it, and there were other things to go into play too. So I don't want it to be like, you know, ultimately we all wanted to be a part of this, and so we lost our own way. There were some people who were forced out, but in a sense, I do wish it would have stayed segregated on some levels, because we could be thriving. We probably would have more trust in one another. It wouldn't be that whole, I think crabs in a barrel kind of came from that, or at least was reinforced from that, because like you said, okay, I can get a piece of this pie and I can be a part of this group. So now I feel better than what I did when I was in this group, and I don't want anybody else on that level.
Right.
I think one of the things that I got, especially from the episode, is that the reason that it happened so quickly and so easily is because what we had, they made it try to seem as less than. You know, we had the broken down water fountains. Like our stores were not in the best condition. Like, you always kind of like in your, you know what I'm saying, in your mind, and you always underneath wanted to get to the better. Like you felt you deserved what was better, and they had what was better. They had the best of it. It was clean, it was shiny, it was new. And then once the gates open, it's like, oh, that's what I want. Not understanding that what you were doing, you were building a way for you all to sustain yourselves with no one. Like, you had that. Like, you needed no one. But because like they played on our subconscious and our minds, like, oh yeah, y'all got y'all stuff, but it is this. We giving y'all the scraps. Y'all got the old this, the old bikes. The stuff we sold in our stores wasn't always the newest. It wasn't always the best quality. So it's just the way it happened. It, like you said, a lot of people were forced out. Like, they were forced out. Some people were forced out, and some people tried to stay. But the reason I think it happened so quickly is that it was a preset mind thing. Like, we ran out of it, and it's unfortunate because that is why, like you said, we have this crabs in the barrel mentality. We can't figure out how to get back to that community feeling. Like, you used to have neighborhoods back in the day. Like, not even that far along when I was a kid, my block was a block. Like, you had, the middle class was a thing. You know, it was a couple of families that had a cabin up north, a couple cars in the driveway. You know, they went on family vacations every year, and kids were, you know, in decent clothing, and we all played together. And it was a situation where if I was too far down the street and I was acting up, somebody was going to say something. You know what I'm saying? It was a sense of community. And, you know, all that has been driven out. And it's just, I guess the next question is, in our small circles, how can we strive to get back to that?
I mean, that's kind of a loaded
Loaded question.
Like, I don't see.
That's why I said the small circle. Like, what could you do? Because they say it takes one person to start to lead the way. What could we start doing, even just with the culture cure? I know one of the things is to start to buy black as much as we possibly can and start to circulate that dollar more. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to make a vast effort to do that. But other than that, like, what else can we do?
Get a few of your friends to buy a house on the same block.
Mm.
Create that community.
Create that community. Ahmad, what you think?
I totally agree with that. I mean, it's kind of like the whole idea where it said it takes a village to raise a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole village to raise a child. We must be our own village, come together. I think I posed this question to both of y'all when we all work together. There was a guy that goes to the mosque with me, an older guy, and one question he posed to me a few years ago was, why is it that the black community is the only community that kind of forces or teaches the child once they get of age to move out, go become independent or work, the whole get out the house thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas when we see in Hamtramck, Dearborn, other communities around our areas that they stay in the home, whether it's a 4-family flat or a house or whatever, they all live in that one house until they can build a community. Next thing you know, you look up 10, 15 years later, they got stores. Mm-hmm. The whole area has been, the economy has came up. Mm-hmm. Whereas when every man for himself, every child for himself.
18, you gotta get out.
And you don't really know life at 18. 21, 20, by the time
you barely have responsibility.
Yeah, you have no financial literacy, your education, you're still trying to figure out who you are as a person. So, like Tiff said, it really begins with starting with small building blocks, teaching your kids, and expand out from your home to your, the extended part of your family. Mm-hmm. Build a community by buying homes, getting real estate, teaching your friends and family financial literacy, educate yourselves to the point where, you can teach others. Mm-hmm. And then over time, I think to some small degree, we can get that togetherness back. Not wholeheartedly, but, every step, effort counts. So
I feel like, in addition to that, really just starting our own businesses and services. And there are a lot of people who are doing that. So while we talk about, yes, buying black, using black, but starting our own business and services, I don't know if you were going to talk about the second episode, but there were some pieces in his second episode where he was saying learning trades, learning how to do things, and everyone doesn't want to do that, but even if it's something on the side and creating that within our community. And to your point, and kind of yours, when you talked about, we see other communities or we felt like ours wasn't the best. But if you think about it, and this is no disrespect to them, there's a Chinatown everywhere, right?
Yep.
Are they clean? Do they look clean? No shade, but do they look clean? Everyone's shaking their head. So, but they're thriving. They're thriving. And so when you have this mindset, well, my stuff has to be shiny, my stuff, like, yes, you want your stuff to be sanitary, you want your stuff to be clean, but there's a sense of this is better because of X, Y, and Z. If we get to a point where we're offering quality services and things of business in our neighborhood, that's something that any of us can do on the side. If I learn how to do this and start offering and actually do a good quality job and spread the word, then I think that will put us in a position to be able to do that too. And then you can maybe get a storefront. You can move forward and do more things. So it isn't just about buying property. I know that's a great thing. We talk about that a lot, but that's one of those things that a lot of people don't feel is attainable. A lot of people in a different tier of life, to them, that's far off. So to build our community back up, if we learn how to do these services, we provide quality services or any type of business venture, whether it's clothes, whether it's socks, we have people on the show doing that. If it's legal advice, anything, that's how we build our community. That's how we educate our community of all ages. And it's not just starting within our own personal family. It needs to be on a broader scale. And I think it can be done quickly if we do it like that.
Everybody has to buy in.
But you have to start somewhere.
No, correct. I'm agreeing with you. But like on a mass scale, I think it has to be a change in a small incremental change in everybody's mind to just say like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
And believe in it.
Correct. Like, I'm going to now support these Black businesses. I'm going to, if I own a Black business, I'm going to offer the best service that I can possibly offer, and for the sake of the community.
Yeah.
And that takes me to another point. Why is it that, you know, I'm sure all of us have patroned a Black business at some point in time of our lives. Why is it that, you know, we have a handful that we do repeat, and then we have some that we will never go to again?
Hello.
And it's like, what is it about? And I'm sure there are terrible places in all other, you know, cultures and communities, but why is it that when someone tells us or tries to like give us a review or whatever, like, hey, you know, the service was, you know, a little choppy, I get it was lunchtime, but, you know, old girl looked at me for 5 minutes and never said anything or whatever. When we get these responses or whatever, it's always, it comes back like defense. It's a wall goes up.
It's met with the like.
It's met with the defense. A wall goes up. So it's like, how can we grow? Because now you're offended and you know defended yourself, and now I'm offended because I was just trying to let you know, hey, this was my experience,
Right.
and now I'm not coming back here anymore. So it's like, what is it? Because I've been in several places, in several, you know, Black businesses, and when you walk in, it's kind of like. And I think we're more critical of ourselves. You know, we're much more critical of ourselves. But it's like, I think we probably see it more because it's, you know, it's somebody Black. But it's like, why is this okay? Why is the person that I'm looking at think this is okay? Think that this is the right way to represent this business, even if it's not theirs or whatever. And then, you know, for instance, I'll take it a step further. I've said in interviews before, and you know, a person comes in, suit, tie, whatever. A week into the job, they on Instagram like, I'm at the slave ship.
They don't pay me enough for this.
This is bullshit.
The amount that you signed, you agreed to.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
okay.
What you doing at work? Oh, I'm calling off today. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is it that allows, you know, certain people to do that? Because in its entirety, that's why we don't repeat business with some people.
I mean, I can't sit here and act like I have the answer to it. I do want to make it, you know, clear that I don't think that that's just unique to.
No. Like I said, I think we're more critical of each other.
Correct.
Right.
And we notice it more obviously because we're Black, and
right.
we're like we have hopes and dreams for, you know, like the Black community to. I don't say to do better, but you know, to be at its best,
right.
So we can all be at our best. Why people do it? I mean, I could give you a plethora of reasons why I think, but I think it all boils down to people just don't have a sense of pride in the work that they do. And I don't want to blanket that and say everybody is like that, because we have had some great business people in this room who are like operating on such a high supreme level. But oftentimes, you know, what's memorable and what sticks out are those instances where you've had horrible service, or you
this on the web.
Did you? Okay.
where you've had horrible service, and those kind of ride with you. Because even in businesses that are not, you know, Black owned, if I've had bad service anywhere, I'm telling everybody, I'm telling you not to go there. Like, by all means, don't support these people because they are wilding. And I've had experiences in Black businesses where I was able to pull them, via email, though, pull them to the side and say, hey, this was my experience. I didn't like it. This is my first time being here. This is like a well-known Black business that everybody goes to. But my first experience was horrible. When they finally got around to reading my email,
months later,
right, you know, whatever, they defended the actions of the person, which I'm not asking you to throw anybody under the bus, but they made it a point to want to
be defensive.
Well, no, to correct the action.
Oh, they did.
Okay, well, this is what happened. Like, we want to give you another. We can't give you another first experience, but this is what we want to do.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't follow through on that, you know,
Mhm.
like, but the fact that they even took the time a while later to read the email and then
to offer that.
correct, you know, and then I will be fair, it was a time thing. Like, I think I was out of town at the time, so like responses weren't.
As you be.
Here you go, and it never worked out for me. So for me, I'm not gonna talk crap about them and say their name. I'll never go back because that's just how I operate.
I think a lot of people take jobs, and this could be any one of us. I'm sure we've all done it. A lot of people take jobs that they either don't care about, we just don't want to be at all, just to take them just because they need the money, and unfortunately don't have that maturity level to function and operate with pride, as she said, or with professionalism. Sorry, in that environment, and so that is what translates when you have that poor service. They don't care nothing about this job. They don't care nothing about this place, and I'm just here for a check, and I want to walk out of here at any given moment. And so that translates. And I think that, unfortunately, it is the duty of the owner, the manager, or the boss who hopefully cares about that place to kind of recognize that and correct it when it's happening. It doesn't always happen. There may be personal reasons. That's what's in that cup. There may be personal reasons that they don't follow through with it. But I think that, you know, whether it's black, white, or any other race, I think that is really what translates into that type of experience. The person just not even caring about where they're at, not caring about their job.
Because I think the mentality nowadays is, I mean, we got it as customers. Like, okay, you tell me you're not coming back. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
How does that affect me?
When I've reached a certain level,
Right.
like, there will be another you.
Right. And I think back in the day, it was different. So you had a mom and pop shop, and you know, Miss Bertha come in the shop and she's treated horribly, and her saying she's not coming back, that's a huge problem.
Miss Bertha is well known.
Not even well known, but like, I have such a sense of pride about my job and my, you know, my business and where I work. I don't want it to get out that I treated Miss Bertha like this, or that she didn't have an experience that was divine for her. So I'm going to do what it takes. I feel like that was the mentality back then. Now, you got a whole lot more customers. So you got one who's upset, okay, I missed out on one, but I got 1,000 more lined up behind you. And I think the flaw in that, I think the flaw in that is that every customer should be treated like your only customer. Like that person truly matters, because I think that does more for the business. Because if you treat me good in a place, I will pay your high prices. I will come back, and I will give you all the free advertisement. Because if I find something, if Tiffany finds something Tiffany likes, Tiffany will cash out. Tiffany will tell people.
Oh, we know.
Y'all pay. Like, I will give you that. You can't pay for that type of advertisement. Like, oh, you gotta go. You gotta try this. It's the best thing you had in your life. You know what I mean? As opposed to, you probably shouldn't go there because they treated me like X, Y, and Z. And that type of publicity is gonna spread like wildfire, right? Well, my homegirl had a bad experience. Well, I heard it was like this. I heard it was like that.
I think that comes with knowledge. And experience. Obviously, I think parenting plays a big role in that as well. All of us can sit here and say that we have been that immature, not taking my job serious person on the job. But as we got older and matured and went through some experiences in life, I think now that we look back on those situations, circumstances, we would have done different. Yeah, I agree with Tiff. I mean, when you
I like money.
When you dealing with the masses and the public, and you have that one bad customer experience, you don't take it as such, because you know you're going to deal with another 10, 15, 20 people. So that one or two customers that you pissed off or that you weren't feeling, you know because of the volume that you're going to receive, that it didn't mean that much to you. But I know I had experience when I was younger, fresh out of college. I ended up getting fired from a job, and my outlook on that at the time when they fired me was, I got a college degree. I don't need this job anyway. And my whole thing was, I was like 21. I had to be here at 5 o'clock in the morning, and everybody that worked there had been there 30, 40 years, and that's all they knew. So in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't be this person. I'm not about to be here 20, 30 years. Y'all ain't never gonna find another job. I am. So fire me. I'll get another job in 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
But
6 months later.
That's when you know I was at Sprint.
And it was a new job.
Right. But I think with knowing that and getting of age and sitting in interviews, whether it be at Sprint or even at Chrysler, people do take a lot of jobs just for the sake of saying I have a job or just for convenience. And it's not what they really want to do, so they don't put the effort into it. When you do something that you really care about doing, that you're passionate about doing, you'll see that in your daily actions. So I think a lot of it comes from experience, maturity, knowledge, and growth, and also parenting. If you were raised right and your parents taught you the value of a dollar and how to treat people and how to take care of things so that you can keep them for a long, extended period of time, you'll see that as you grow and get older, and you'll see that in your work ethic as you grow.
Definitely. So how often do you all try to buy black?
I just got some black rims on my truck.
Okay.
So the 2020 you just bought? Right. So Tiff,
We got the 2021.
oh, the 2021.
2021 ain't necessarily made it to production yet, but
But when it does.
I got it.
You gonna have it.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This is a conversation that I've had with my grandfather, who is 93 right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's my homie. We've had this conversation a lot. So as a kid, I used to be the person that's like, I ain't supporting black business. Like, they have horrible customer service. If I can go down the street and pay $5 less than what you're trying to charge me, then I'm going to go where the best deal is. I'm getting the most bang for my buck. And my grandfather used to always, like, he doesn't talk loud, so you know when he starts like getting the bass in his voice.
Oh,
like,
he's serious.
And he would have those serious conversations with me all the time about how it's harder for black businesses. It's harder for, like, it's easier for a non-black business to go get a supplier and to get these products at a certain price. A black business, they gotta pay higher, which then translates into what you the consumer paying higher. And I was just like, skip that. Nope, that's dumb.
Very true. Very true.
But as I got older, I mean, I really see that's the truth. You know, it is harder. To answer the question though, how often do I try? Not often enough would be my answer. I tend to go towards convenience, and I go where I know I can get exactly what I'm looking for. So, I've not relapsed and been to Target in a little while.
You buying Target?
Well, Target used to be like a daily thing for me, but that's all neither here nor there. I don't support Walmart. I don't know why I feel the need to say that. I just don't shop there. I think that I need to take a page out of my sister-in-law's book, who supports black businesses, to know and support more. Make the effort to support more.
Come on.
We'll help you both get them all black, so that's the start, right?
I mean, but this is Nike, so that's definitely not.
That's
Like this,
Right.
He kind of not. It's like 50-50 with the Jordan.
Yes. I mean, it's a start.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
You're right.
How often do I try to support my businesses? Let's see, this is October 2019, right?
Oh my God.
All right, so Saray.
I think I've done it twice this year.
Not even the soul food spot?
Was that?
That was 2 times.
It probably was. Let me get that number 8. Extra collard greens.
I cashed out at the Afro World Festival.
Okay. Yeah, go.
Yeah, not often. But you know, after
Is there a reason why though? Was it more so for convenience, like she said?
no, I don't have a problem supporting black businesses. It's probably more for convenience, but I kind of put my dollar in everywhere.
You're not paying attention, basically.
Yeah, so I guess before after watching, the Killer Mike video series, I definitely make a more concerted effort making that happen. To start with myself. You got a couple dollars I could borrow.
I don't know, man.
Oh my
God. Sorry.
I would say that I definitely could do it more. I don't necessarily consistently go out of my way to do it, but I tend to try that method first. So like, and I can't say I know to the core that it's all black, but if it's a restaurant, if it's I'm looking for an outfit, I'll try to go to like a boutique I know was started by someone black first and try to find something there. So that's been probably the most recent way I've been doing it as far as like clothing and accessory and food. But like groceries and all of that type of in-depth stuff, no, it is kind of more of convenience. I haven't taken the time to look up where I can find those kind of things. But I would say that I've been making more of an effort for it. Probably over the last year and a half. A lot of people that I went to school with have businesses, have clothes, have accessories, things like that. So I've been trying to make it a point to support them and see who else they can direct me to. So I think I'm doing okay, but definitely can be doing better.
Yeah, I definitely don't do it as much as I should, and it made me feel away. A point in the episode when he finally got to Athens.
Mm-hmm.
He had to sleep on a park bench. He couldn't eat. Well, he couldn't get high. That was really one of his major points. And I mean, the part that he couldn't eat, like the sleeping on the park bench, people camping outside. Like
you found out what spot
to sleep? No, that was towards the end. But what I'm saying is that because he was trying to live totally black, like everything had to be produced, manufactured, whatever, black, right? Mm-hmm. And we go to the core of it all, like food and agriculture is a big thing. Like we don't have many black farms. Mm-hmm. And I guess the bone I had to pick with him, which I'm gonna tag him to this episode, is that after doing that experiment, I would have thought that he would have looked into, and I don't know if he have or hasn't. I don't know if he has or hasn't, but he's very vocal. And I think if he would have done something like this, he would have made mention to it. But I think for something like with the agricultural part, with the food and all of that, that has to happen on a larger scale for it to like take effect quickly. Like for us to try to start a grocery store, like you said, it's going to be very hard trying to, not a grocery store, but like get a farm, getting the land, getting the equipment to, till the land and so on and so forth. It's going to be very hard for us, a group of us to do. But some of these,
that's actually always a dream of mine, to own my own farm.
They have community farms. Look through Braymore.
Yeah, but I'm saying like something on a massive scale that can support a grocery store is what I'm saying. Like, and that's because that's where it starts. Because he was going to different places. He went to that one restaurant and was about to smash. He was like, "My brother, did this stuff come from?" You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Nah," and he was like, "Dang," you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't to get to the point where we fully circulate our dollar, like from beginning to end. Like, we have to start at the core of things. And
is that just to pose a question? Is that realistic
for us to get farms?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying for us to get farms, but from beginning to end, is it realistic to only deal with black people?
We can get to that point. We were there. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I want to have this conversation, because before desegregation, we were there. We had black farms. They had the stores had food from people that were, black farmers and so on and so forth. We were there. Where everything was more, maybe some of the...
I think we live in a different... Do you agree that we live in a different time?
We do.
I'm not saying that it's not possible to, deal with, like, 50%, 80, 90% black business, but like
I'm not saying throw everything out the window. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that something drastic has to happen for us to get from, like you said, underneath the thumb, or to get back to a point where we can circulate our dollar within our community more. Like 6 hours is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. We live in a time where a lot of stuff is imported. A lot of stuff. That's, I think, to your point. Like when it goes down to the core, I don't know if that is realistic. Like the food thing, yes, but going into, like I said, clothing or materials, that is probably not going to happen. So on some level, you're going to reach where it comes from someone else.
you're going to deal with China,
Right.
like just
On some level, like there's so many things that are imported here. So, but I think if we can get to a point where we are at least owning the bulk of it, or
like if I own the import export, then that's a gray area. Because if you watch the show, he was like, you live with a black woman, you're pure black. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he had to start finding reasons. Like, how can I make this make sense?
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. Of course, everything we import a lot here, but I'm just saying that something has to happen. And I think with all of these, million and billionaires and thousandaires that are black, they always get on their soapbox about what we can do and how we can move the needle forward. But and I'm not saying they're not doing anything. They're doing like some amazing things on some larger scales, but there are some smaller things they can do within, their own community. You know what I'm saying? Go back, open that black grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Do that. And even if it's just one in your old neighborhood, like, we have to start. Somebody has to start, and I think it has to happen on a grand scale. That's just my thought.
I agree. I don't see an issue with it starting on a small scale and then snowballing. It's like a slow burn, right?
Yeah.
So you start somewhere, you get that momentum, so you don't get in debt, or you don't, you're able to mitigate larger issues because you've done it on a smaller scale and you know how that works. So those community farms, start if you want to start today. Learn how to buy a book. Learn how to grow some lettuce. Learn how to grow some things. Start there. It's a lot next to your grandma's house. Buy that lot. Turn it into a little farm area. Learn how to till the land. Learn how to do whatever it is you need to do to then, okay, now I'm growing this stuff. So how can I now sell it? Okay, I can go to a farmer's market and sell it. I can get a bin or a little shed down at Easter Market. Now I'm making money. Okay, now I've got momentum. How can I make this grow bigger? And I'm now supplying all of this stuff to a major grocery store. Because I don't think it's any problem. The black business, you supplying Meijer. Why is it Michigan brand? So like, why
I'm
not
not saying not get your chips. I ain't saying not do that, but I'm just saying. Anything else you have to say on the topic, Ahmad?
No, sir.
All right, before we go, I did have something I wanted to touch on, and I guess this kind of went a little longer than I expected. We'll pick up on it next week, but it was something that I came across over the weekend, and it's something that I do myself. To a fault, I keep a lot of things close to the vest. Like, I don't share a lot of information. And I think in the black community, we do that a lot. And I was trying to figure out, like, why? Because we almost do it to a fault of where we make ourselves worse off.
Because somebody gonna steal my idea.
Well, not even just idea. Not even just idea. Like, I could be homeless right now. But when I'm with my friends, oh yeah, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sleeping in my car. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm with the boys, I'm good. Because I don't want you to know that I'm down bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, that's why, because Tiff over here laughing.
First off, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
That's all I got.
No,
I
I'm
hope
just
that
saying,
helps.
like I ain't ate in 2 days.
No,
but I'm linked up with the homies. And
I think that's a sense of pride, though. I made decisions to put myself in this situation. I don't want to burden other people with it. And I think that oftentimes you tend to know how your friends can respond. So they're not going to respond. They're not always going to respond with the outpouring of love. Oh, you stupid. Oh,
Right.
how'd you get here?
Right.
Like, oh, but you got that brand new X, Y, and Z. Like you should have been. Right. So they're not responding with an outreaching hand. It's like, okay, they're going to jump on me. And if they do offer me a place to stay,
I'm gonna hear about it later.
correct. So it's better for me. I figure it out on my own.
How do we get out of that? Because like I've like been in a situation with my own family where I'll get a call now where I can't help you now. Like
It's too far gone.
it's like you might be out here. Like the lights are off now for real. Like when it was $200, when it was $100 past due. $200 past due. You owe $50.
We could have banned.
We could have found that. Got some bottles.
I had the number.
Yeah. You
No.
$1,500 in the hole now. I don't have nothing for you.
But Jeff, I think you mentioned this before though. We have to get better with how we respond, and I know we're like laughing and joking now, but I think people in general, we need to know how to respond when someone comes to us with something serious, because that's how that dynamic stays in place.
Correct.
You know, I'm gonna laugh, or I'm gonna make a face, or I'm gonna say something that you may feel is judgmental. So how do we? I think the only way to really fix that is start small with working on how we respond to when people share these types of things.
And not even just a response. I think some people, as a defense mechanism, will do things jokingly. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, it's ha 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 ha. But it's your real truth.
Right.
No, I'm really out here homeless.
Instead
Please help me.
Instead of pulling somebody to the side, like, hey man, you know, I lost my job last week. And,
It's pride.
you know,
That's a lot. If you've always been the person to take care of something.
to be vulnerable, like why? And especially as black men, it's hard for us to be vulnerable.
And be vulnerable because
Because you think somebody's gonna use it against you.
That in society, within our own society, has always built us up to be strong, tough, providers, protectors, and not show emotion.
Yeah.
And then another topic, and I know this is probably gonna make Tiff eagerly say something. We live in a society nowadays where women not really gonna allow you to be vulnerable, to have that weakness.
Oh, man, where your violin?
I'm being realistic, because even if we
In some scenarios,
even if we watch me and Tiff have argued about this before.
In
Even
some
if we watch,
scenarios, he's
even in
correct.
Power,
in some
the moment Ghost had a weakness when he started making.
Let's not use power.
Okay, I know it's a conversation, but the moment Ghost started using, as you called it, weak moves once Raina died, he was never looked at the same.
Started moving like a B-I-T-T.
Right, but
I think that's what he's talking about, right?
That's
I think that's what he's talking
When
about.
when you always being labeled as being the man or being strong or always the kid or person that has it or did well for
You
themselves,
can't have a weak moment.
you can't have that weak moment because people are like,
What happened to you?
If you couldn't handle yourself, like,
What
ain't
you
nobody
do?
do for you.
Yeah.
But do you think that people tend to have that response because when you were on, as a man, when you were on, you was
boast.
real boastful. You was real, like, braggadocious. So you like, oh, I got this forever. So the moment that you don't have it, someone reminds you, or they serve you a piece of humble pie. You know, remember you said this? Remember all that?
I think that's relative because
That's very relative.
yeah, because you can not be that type of guy. It's the fact that you ain't on no more. You ain't the man no more. So now that you've been quote unquote humbled by whether losing your job or falling flat on your face, it's the fact that people wanted you to be down there where they were, and now that you're down there, now quote unquote you know how I feel to be like the